Hello everybody, this is a one-on-one guide for you for building spaceship, customized spaceship in Starfield. I'm going to explain to you all the things you need to know. I know it's a bit underwhelming at first, but trust me, after you watch this video, it's going to be a walk in the park for you. Right? And also going to build with you so you can see, the decision that I make, something small of course, but from that point on you can be creative and do whatever you like. Alright, so we're going to start from totally fresh. So the first thing we need to know is how to add things, and basically if you press G add, you'll be able to see all the different items here. These are basically tabs, you can actually move between them either pressing QT or just with the arrow. We're going to go over all the categories 5. So structural, as you can see here, it actually says on the left components are largely cosmetics. So basically this is the place where you can really get creative by choosing many different items that really doesn't affect, they don't have restriction. You can actually put lots of them, as many of them as you like. Not as many of them as you like, you have general restrictions, but you can really kind of be very creative with them. So different sizes, types, shapes, and you can get crazy with it. Each item of course going to have its volume, its cost, and you can see the mass, how much it actually weighs. We also have the shields. All right, the thing is that the shield, and you can equip again one of them. You can see on the top left how much actually shield your ship is going to get. You can see the threshold there. So again, the more expensive one, of course, we're going to have better ones. If you look at the left, it's very important to note you're going to see different properties. For example, for the shield, you have class, max power, shield max health, regen rate, hull, crew capacity, and basically the class is one of the most important thing here, because the higher the class, the better it is, generally speaking, and you need a reactor that actually is at a minimum of the class that your item requires. So for example, C is better than A. A is the lowest, C is the highest. So basically you want something higher. So for example, if I choose this one, B, I need at least B. So if I have A reactor, I won't be able to use it. So I need something higher than that. All right, so this is something important to know. Alright, the next things are reactors. Now reactors, you can again only use one reactor. Alright, you can't use more. So if I use 2 reactors, for example, if I put here and add another reactor, you can see that if I go to flight check, it says multiple reactors. Alright, so only one can be used. Alright, the thing is, this defines the class of the reactor, defines the requirement for the ones that items that you're going to add. For example, C reactor is high, right? A is low. So if you class reactor A and taking higher grade, which is C, I won't be able to use it. And actually, if I go to flight check, you're going to say ship contains modules that exceed reactor class. All right, so this one is not good. All right, you see I have 10, or one of them is that. But if I'm going to delete this, I'm going to add a shield that is A 10, so it's removed. So the important thing to note here, if you want to use, the most important thing to use is that if you want to use certain items a certain grade, you need to have reactor at least equal or better than the class needed for the item. All right, next thing we can talk about hubs. Now this is basically kind of a living quarters. These are spaces you can actually walk in and they can connect with each other. Basically when you go, of course, and enter the ship, you'll be able, if they are connected, to walk between them, either with stairs, ladders, or just open doors. Of course, depends how you position them. Right. The other thing you need to note is that there's little lines here. You can see the lines. Basically, this allows you to choose different options. You use the keys in the left and right arrows, so you can see I can move between different options here. If I go here, I can go armory, captain quarters, computer core, control station, infirmary. There are different options for you. Of course, it depends on each one. on its size. This has lots of options. This allows you to really choose the one that actually you want and different combine different ones. It's going to be the same size, of course, just different purposes. All right. Yeah, there's some slight changes there, as you can see. But overall, the size remains the same. All right. So these are apps. So you connect them. Basically, they are joints, and all you need to do is just take it, and there's joints. You need to connect them. You can actually select. If you want to delete it, you can just select and delete. All right. You can actually choose the variants here by just clicking a left or right. You can actually see on the left these changes as well. So this is another way to do it. If you're already selecting, you want to change it, the version, you can actually, and you can connect, all right? You can connect different ones. Now, if you want to connect something on top or below, so I'm just going to explain it here. You see R and F. Now we are in ground zero, all right? So basically, straight on the grid. Now, if you want to take it and put it up, you use R or F. R, we take it up. All right, R and F, take it down. All right, so then I can use R and F, and I can position it everywhere I want. All right, so you can see these joints. This is what you need to connect to. All right, so these are apps. All right, and to make sure, of course, for example, if you connect something like, you know, several of them, one on top of the other, like 3 of them, is going to be like maybe a ladder, straight ladder. You can actually just jump from the top like a fireman until the bottom. But again, these are very, very important. This is actually what allows you to walk in the ship, and it provides different type of functionality that's important. Different stations for you can actually craft items and so on. Next thing is Grav drives. This allows us to travel from to different star systems. As you can see, gravity and loop array, Grav drive allows your ship to jump to other star systems, upgrade to increase your jump range. You can only have one of them, and of course, different prices. You can see the price here, the volume. You can see that they have jump fast, drive elf, hold, max power, and class. Now, of course, if you use it, there are other things that can actually reduce the amount of jump range as well. But again, if you just choose one, for example, if you choose this one, you can actually hit the button, the jump range, right? So if I go and choose this one, all right, I have jump range of 30 light years. But other things can affect it. We're going to talk about it just a bit later. Another thing, important thing to know, generally speaking, is that there are different items that have different skill requirements. So, for example, this one requires Starship Design Rank 2. So, if you're unable to use it, you're going to see it in red. So, if you don't have the requiring skill, you need to upgrade the skill, or at least, work towards it if you want to use certain items, because just buying it with the credit won't be enough. You need to make sure that you have the required skill for certain items like this one. The other thing is gear. This is basically landing gear, and if you're building bigger ship, you're going to need more of those to be added. The game will actually tell you that in the when you do a flight check. And there are different ones. Again, you can also switch here between different ones. This is actually going to change if you want it forward, backward. So again, it's really nice when you need to kind of a different position. I'm going to show you, of course, when we start building a ship, but basically this is landing gear. Of course, it needs to be at the bottom. Nothing can be below it, otherwise it won't actually touch the ground. And basically the game will show you once you start building, you can actually see it, that is going to show you if you're actually touching the bottom or not. We're going to show you just a bit later when you start building a ship. You can see it here when I over it, green. All right, we're going to show it later on when you build a ship. All right, next one, fuel tanks. Fuel tanks, of course, as you can see here, Spaceship fuel tanks store helium-3, which is used by the Grav drive to perform a jump. Upgrade fuel tanks allows you to plot a longer cursor to travel further without stopping. All right, so this allows us to increase, to make sure that we don't have to stop during our jump range because we don't have enough fuel, so we can actually reach longer. Right, the different prices for them, as you can see, and some of them requires certain skills like this one, which is Starship Design. right? Next one is equipment. Now, equipment, you're going to find different ones. Keep in mind that you visit different places, you're going to find sometimes different items that belong to certain factions, for example. So if you go to the big cities and you talk with the technician there, you're going to find different items. So all the items that you see here are not necessarily what you're going to see when you visit another station. Most of them probably will, but there's some of them are going to be either going to achieve them different quests, for example, like the com spike here. And again, in this station, I can actually find scam jammers that allows you to use contraband on my ship, which reduces the chance for being detected by actually jamming the scanner. Again, you see a scan by 50% if you're using a shielded cargo. All right. So you're going to find different equipments that serve different purposes. Now, regarding engines, you can put multiple engines. You can see here, every spaceship needs engines. Upgrade the increased speed and acceleration. The mass of your entire ship will affect performance. All right. So if you want better performance, you want to make sure that you have more engines. The game actually will tell you that as well. Dockers, you can only have, dockers, you can have, it needs to be, you can see the different ones. All right, there's one for port from the side, the one from the top, the one for the for the front. So the different places you can put them. If you take, for example, the top, it needs to be at the very, very top. All right, if you put it, for example, lower, the game will actually give me an error about that. Well, it needs to be something at the top, because again, this will allow the game to connect to different station at the top, from the top of the ship, right? More of that later. Cockpit, cockpit. This is where you're gonna fly your ship. There are lots of variations here. Right, and you're gonna, of course, when I start building the ship, you're gonna see this is your cockpit. This is you can see this is where you control your ship and view your flight path. Simple. Cargo. This is where you store items. Some will have shielded that allows you to put again some illegal items and reduce the chances to get caught. And other ones, of course, they're gonna be usually smaller compared to the other ones. They can be much larger, but don't have protection. All right, like this one, for example. We'll talk about where I recommend actually putting them for in modality, but that's a bit later. Base, you can only have one. Basically, it allows you to get into the ship. So you can just put it everywhere you want to walk up into your ship. All right. There are different options, but you can see I will get error because I already use too many. So basically I need to make sure that I have one. I need to position it and then I can just walk up into the ship. Weapons, well, self-explanatory, different weapons. You can see there are different classes, fire rate, shield damage, hull damage, max power hull, crew capacity, basically different options for basically dealing damage to other spaceships. Lots of different options there. Structural, you see structural component, a logic cosmetic, so this is again, we're getting back to the first one. This is for cosmetics. So now you know what each one does, and let's create a spaceship and give you some tips how to create ones. Let's create a spaceship. First of all, I want to show you something very important. By the way, we're going to start with a core reactor. So we're going to choose a reactor. Well, you can only have one, remember. All right. Now keep in mind, if you want to duplicate, of course, this one you won't be using duplicate. If you want to duplicate, you press Control and G. Control G. That's duplicate. This makes it very easy if you want to quickly, add things. Especially if I'm going to show you some tips in a moment. But for example, if I go and press J to color, right, and I colored it. I'm going to talk about colors in a moment. What have I done? All right, and then if I do Control G, I'm going to duplicate the same color. So if you're already doing colors and too quickly instead of coloring each one, duplication also works well for this one. All right, so we're going to have one of that. Let's say we're going to go for half. I'm going to build something very simplistic. Now, of course, this one can be connected. Depends if you like. By the way, it depends on the item. So if you want to put it at the top, for example, you can go with that. If I want to take it up, I'm going to use R. Oh, sorry, I don't have connections here. Only for the back. Some of them do. Let me just... yeah. Oh, this one has. Sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah. So if I want to connect it, need to go F. This doesn't have connection to the bottom. I'm sorry, my bad. This one doesn't have, so it needs to be connected to. And by the way, you can use the right mouse button to move around. You can use the WASD to move around, and the right mouse button to rotate. This allows you to view from different angles. So WASD to move, right mouse button, right? So it allows you to move. So if you want to, for example, just go down, right mouse button, you go up. All right, that's how you control it. All right, so we connected this one here. Let's get rid of that. Actually, no, let's put it on top, hard. Here we go. All right, I'm going to add for each one gravity drives. All right, let's take a good one. Gear. Now we need landing gear. Let's take, for example... Oh, landing gear not... yeah, let's connect the landing gear now. I wanted you to look at the green, so you know actually if I'm putting it in the right place. It needs to be at the bottom. See, there's no left side to connect it. So let's just add something. I'm just going to do it quick for you. So we're going to take go to hubs. All right, and let's put it here. Control G to duplicate. Put it here. All right, putting it down. Control G, duplicate. All right. By the way, there are ones that, yeah, all right, that's cool. You can actually check, fine, all right. What more? Let's add another one. There we go. We can actually check each time to see if we actually, of course, if you don't put the unnecessary things, you won't be able to save it. So missing cockpit. So you can actually go over it and see what's missing. All right, but we're gonna add everything in a moment. What we need fuel tanks. Now, if you want to flip, so for example, I can connect it here. So you can see I have the option to flip is Z, and then I can flip it and then I can connect it. So if you can connect it, you can actually turn it, you know, just flip it with Z, all right? And then if you want to put it down, F, all right? And I connect it there. Cool. Now, equipment again, there are different things. You're gonna find different ones to impress. I'm not gonna put them now, but you can. All right, we need engines, right? Let's just, let's say they want to just extend a bit. So engines. Maybe another one. Just duplicate, Control G. So we added that. Can I say check what we're missing? Missing cockpit. We're going to get to there in a moment. All right, we can dockers. We can put, for example, a top one. R. F. Cockpit. There we go. I can put cargo, carry stuff. Let's do the shielded cargo. There we go. We can flip it. Well, sometimes the game will tell you that something is loose, it's not actually connected, so I need to make sure that our, for example, before it wasn't connected, but I need to flip it so you can miss it. So make sure things are attached, all right? Let's Control G, Z to flip. All right. For example, if I just use, I can connect and put it like that, it's not good, all right? It's not connected. I need to make sure, all right, this is connected. You're gonna get an arrow for that. I want something is loose. All right, that's cool. All right, landing bay. Let's choose. This also needs to touch the ground. If you can have it, you know, not on the ground, so. Right. And if you over it, you can actually see, right? Same goes to this one. They need to be touching the ground, all right? You can see if it's green, if it's red, it's not good. All right, so you see it's green. All right, weapons. Again, we can put different type of other structures to put it on. There are lots of weapons. We don't get onto, of course, everything here. Just choose one. Sometimes, by the way, you can see where you put it. You put in a way. You can also use Control Z to undo, or Control Y to redo. All right, keep this in mind. So you can actually cancel it if you want to. R. All right, so I need something to connect to. So in terms of weapons, we're going to go and add. Let me show you. So they are structural. These are the cosmetic ones. And you're going to have see there's one for engines and there's a weapon mount. All right, so you're going to take the weapon mount and then I can mount weapons. There we go. Let's do a flight check. What we are missing? Minimum landing gear count. Cheapest too few landing gears. So basically, again, depends on the size, the mass. You will need to put more landing gears. So it's not enough. So we're going to add more landing gear. By the way, you can add shields. Let's just add shields. Here we go. All right, we have everything. All right, just we need. Let's put more gear. No gear. Sorry. Yeah, gear. All right, let me see. Go. Last thing, ship as weapon that must be assigned to a group. So if you set this one, all you need to do is just go to here. Again, when you see messages and you check the messages, you go to weapons and you need to assign it to a group because it's unassigned. So you choose this one. All right. And then basically, you can just close it, flight check, messages, all right, and oh, let me see this one more. Yeah, so once we assign weapon, we don't need actually, by the way, all of them need to be different ones. This is the same, all right, but basically it's assigned. Unassigned. Here we go. All right, so basically this is a quick one. We have some warning, as you can see. Just do, all right. Ship is missing a weapon assignment. Missing weapon assignment. This is because the other ones are not assigned because I didn't put. If you put more, I'll just do it now. Go to weapons. Let's choose suppressor. All right, and let's choose another one, missile launcher, and go on flight check, and all of them are assigned. Here we go. All right, one error, let me see. Ah, yeah, the launcher, auto cannon, suppressor. Now you see nominal, this means that everything here is okay and we are good to go. All right, so it's actually now a functional ship. And then we can go to, but we can see also the different stats, which of course can be improved. And you can see total power, which allows you of course to change these ones. You can see total capacity and the power, your travel, jump range, total cargo, and of course we can play with this and reduce and enhance different ones, as you play. So if you go exit, we need to do accept. All right, and you can make it home ship, for example. If I make it home ship, all right, that's my home ship. All right. The other thing we can do now, the next thing now, if you want to upgrade ship, you can just go to upgrade. This allows you to upgrade different things without actually accessing them, removing, adding. For example, if I go to weapon 2, you can actually move between. If you have several of them, you can just go, for example, and choose the suppressor, can click it, and then you can choose another one. All right, so we're just going to change it exactly at the same place. Now, one thing is that I want to talk about is how to change the name of the ship. All right. Basically, if you want to change the name, you're going to go to ship builder, flight check. All right. And at the bottom, you're going to have the option to rename the ship. All right. So you can just rename it anything you want. So yeah, so this is, well, it's not quick, but again, it goes over all the different things. I put chapters, so it's very easy for you to go and check things out specifically if you want to, or just follow how I build it. And yeah, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section below. Or if this guide was helpful for you and cover some of the things that you needed in order to get started building your own spaceship. Again, if you like it, give a like. And if you have any question, in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.